news and grim news. I think we figured out a way to use this binding relic to free Winston, but not before Nameless decided to shower us in ectoplasm. We've cleaned up, but we could use your help here. Get to the lab.
You made it just in time. Eddie, you good?
Locked and loaded. Configuring blast.
Ready up, rookie. In case this goes south.
Take this as my final warning. If anything happens to me, your friend will be a distant memory. Zedamore will be Zed no more! Perhaps I'll spare your world from annihilation, but I won't make any promises.
Winston! Are you okay?
I feel like I just got out of the longest shareholders meeting of my life.
It worked. Yeah, I mean, of course it worked.
I'm free? No! Release me from this enclosure now, or face the consequences! This stupid pickle jaw can't hold me for long! I will bide my time, amassing my power, and then I will decimate everything you've ever loved. Congratulations!
Good to have you back, old friend.
You've doomed your
Thanks,
entire
Ray. Speaking of
species
old
to
friends,
suffer my
someone
wrath.
get Vinkman on the phone. I'd like to have a word.
My rage is rising. I will make this firehouse a gateway for hell. Unlike anything you've ever witnessed. You haven't seen what I'm capable of yet. Just wait. I know several tongues, the bad ones.
It is my utmost pleasure to let you know that your training period has come to an end.
Ha! They're firing you!
No, we're not. Can someone get him out of here?
He requires constant observation.
I go where he goes!
Congratulations. You are officially a Ghostbuster. We may be a small team, but every member counts.
And to commemorate this moment, we got you a little something.
Hey, considering what we've been through recently, what do you say we all grab a bite?
Pizza's gonna have to wait. We've got work to do.
Nah, tough break. But that's the job.
How are you feeling?
Stiff and tired. But I'm not gonna blame all of it on that possessive little ghoul, I swear. Every day at this job is a new thing. One day you're arguing with the mayor over noise complaints. The next, you're possessed by an ancient ghost that doesn't even have a name. That reminds me. I've got to make some calls to the Department of Energy, something about reducing our strain on the city's electrical grid. Thanks for checking in. Hey, I got a chance to speak with Kat. She's got nothing but great things to say about how you've been handling this new gig. Solving people's ghost problems can be thankless. But if I've got a stake in this firehouse, I want my team to know when they're appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Call me Winston.
Thanks, Winston.
Vinkman and I are going to exchange words about that faulty trap. Trust me. I heard about the last job you're on. You can only be so prepared. Don't sweat it. And focus on being alert in the moment. Some of that stuff just comes with time. Let me ask you something. Does that nameless up there ever say anything about me? Because he was in my head for a while, and I don't want him floating off with my social security number. If he does, you let me know. You look great, rookie. Or should I even call you that anymore? Do you feel like you've settled in?
Mostly. To be honest, the commute is way worse than I thought.
Kid, I've been able to set foot on a subway since '89. Let's just say there was a traumatic incident. Got a tip for you, kid. Don't skimp on a good detergent. If you're looking for wild stories from the job, here's one. This one time I was possessed by a ghost that escaped from an old trap that was lying around. That was pretty wild. Got a question? I appreciate a little distraction from the boss man monotony. And you want to know if I'm going back up there to sit down for a chat with the phantom pest that took over my body. No, and not because I'm bitter. It's because he's a loud and annoying little twerp. And I've got more important things to do, like expense report approvals. I ain't got a chance to say what I wanted to Egon. I just wish it had been sooner. A good deal of business acumen is being able to read people. Considering I've spent my career interrogating demons and otherworldly apparitions, million-dollar acquisitions are a piece of cake. Hey, I got a chance to speak with Kat. She's got nothing but great things to say about how you've been handling this new gig. Solving people's ghost problems can be thankless. But if I've got a stake in this firehouse, I want my team to know when they're appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Call me Winston.
Thanks, Winston.
You know, I've always seen this job as a service that performs a public good and gives us an incredible opportunity to learn more about what else is out there in the invisible world. And every day, I ask myself if I'm ready for the answers. Also, for what it's worth, even a decade into this gig, I was still tripping over those dang traps. I don't know, the shape, the wheels, the cord, they're practically unavoidable. Well, all right. Look at you, a full-fledged Ghostbuster. Feels like only yesterday you were just a fresh-faced cadet tripping over your own ghost trap. And now, here you are, brimming with confidence that I haven't seen under this roof in a long time. You make those coveralls look good. Even Eddie stopped by the other day to tell me how much he thinks you've earned your spot. It quickly degraded into a lecture about how my use of the Dewey Decimal System is inefficient and archaic, but if a time-tested library classification like that is considered old-fashioned, then I guess so am I. My point is, we're all proud of you and the work you're doing, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do next. Business is booming for the shop, kid. Just this past week, I had 7 customers, and that's not even counting the others that came in to browse. Yeah, feels good to see this place back on its feet. Now, we have been called in for government work in the past, but private jobs pay way better. Even if you got some CEO breathing down your neck while you're battling a minor demon, those zeros on the paycheck don't lie. Never a dull moment in the firehouse. There's always a call, a new discovery, or some potentially cataclysmic event. And you'd be surprised by how many actual fires happen here. Too many for a firehouse, some might say. Let this incident with Winston be a learning moment. Even though you're a Ghostbuster, armed with some of the most high-tech tools ever created to identify, track, and capture paranormal entities, you can still get taken down by faulty manufacturing. Valuable Ghostbusting tip. The longer a ghost has to manifest before terrorizing the living, the more time they have to feed their own malevolence. Take the Scoleri brothers, for example. Just horrid, violent, twisted individuals in life. When we encountered them, almost 40 years later, they were, well, horrid, violent, twisted ghosts. Bad example. I'll workshop this one and get back to you. Keep your proton pack charged, and don't hesitate to come by the bookstore if you have any questions. Oh, and in your travels, make sure you add any notable spores, molds, or fungus to the collection. I like to think Egon would be pretty pleased to see what we've amassed in his memory. Well, all right. Look at you, a full-fledged Ghostbuster. Feels like only yesterday you were just a fresh-faced cadet tripping over your own ghost trap. And now, here you are, brimming with confidence that I haven't seen under this roof in a long time. You make those coveralls look good. Even Eddie stopped by the other day to tell me how much he thinks you've earned your spot. It quickly degraded into a lecture about how my use of the Dewey Decimal System is inefficient and archaic, but if a time-tested library classification like that is considered old-fashioned, then I guess so am I. My point is, we're all proud of you and the work you're doing, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do next. corporeal manifestations, full-scale psychomagnotheric events, exiled Sumerian gods. For a fleeting, ephemeral moment, we were heroes, celebrated across the city, heck, across the world. Unparalleled in our field, preternatural pioneers on the brink of discoveries our scientific forefathers could never have even dreamed of. No metaphysical pursuit was too insurmountable. At even the slightest implication of paranormal activity, everyone knew who to call. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what happened. Chalk it up to a huge misunderstanding, a fallout. For a while, I wasn't sure why I was getting out of bed in the morning. And some mornings I didn't. That's all behind us now. We saved the world yet again, and we're back. The firehouse cleans up pretty good, huh? At one point, some hotshots bought the place and turned it into an overpriced Java joint. But now, it's back in good hands, thanks to Winston's generosity. We're up, running, and firing on all 16 cylinders. All to code, too. Well, most of the codes. At the very least, the codes we're aware of. For me, it's the energy of the old place. Pure ebullience, galvanic energy coursing through the air. And no, I'm not talking about anything psychokinetic, ectoplasmic, or paranormal. Just good, old-fashioned human emotion. Provinces of the living. Oh, I didn't know how much I needed to be back. How much Winston needed me back here. He's a tycoon now, on 10 conference calls a day. But someone from the old guard has to hold down the fort, you know? Because there's still real work to be done. And that's where you come in. The phone isn't ringing off the hook right now, which is a blessing and a curse. What's good for business is a bad omen for everything else. But if it were up to me, I'd still be in the thick of it. Spectral dogs, free-roaming vapors, electrokinetic phantom entities, Class 7 fully subconscious possessors. But it's time for a new generation. And that's you. You have the chance to peek behind the capricious veil of life itself and see firsthand what exists on the other side. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Well, slimy, really. And yes, that might mean having to pick up a book or two. What people don't know about the Ghostbusters could fill 10 encyclopedias. And before you even ask, yeah, I've thought about it. Been approached by some very interested parties, which isn't saying much. Every hack and wannabe with a laptop can be published today, whether they know the science or not. And trust me, they don't.
Ray?
Go ahead, this is Ray.
Is there someone there with you? Let me guess. The new recruit is there with you? And you've mentioned spectral dogs at least once already? Ray, you gotta let them get to work. All trainees report directly to the firehouse, remember? Over.
Well, that's our time. Good talk. Off you go to meet Kat. Welcome to the team. Don't worry, I'll be in touch.
Everything's back to normal. So let's get back to business. I've met a lot of really famous people in this line of work. They're dead, of course, but I still take selfies. Someday, we'll be hanging out around the firehouse after hours, having a drink with the boss, all having a good laugh about that one time Winston got possessed. But maybe don't bring it up again just yet. Nameless has gotten even more annoying since they were separated. I wouldn't be surprised if possessing Winston was somehow counterbalancing that twerp's obnoxious personality. Everything's back to normal. So let's get back to business.
What are you planning to do with Nameless?
A specimen like this is invaluable. My mind is doing laps just thinking about what we can learn with even the slightest bit of examination.
If you even think of coming near me, I will roll this jar off the table.
Subject Nameless becomes defensive when threatened.
Hey, stop that, you buffoon!
Subject Nameless also appears unbothered by the odorous residue of kimchi that was previously stored in the jar which now contains him.
No! The smell! It overpowers me! If I could vomit, I would!
Subject Nameless is incapable of emesis. Very interesting.
Die, you insolent man!
I'll just leave you both to it.
Shouldn't you be out busting ghosts?
Yeah, can't you see we're busy here?
I don't have anything conclusive yet. Performed some basic personality tests, and the results were interesting.
Turns out Eddie doesn't have one.
Shut it, or you'll get the juice again.
Oh, Eddie, did I hurt your feelings?
Shouldn't you be out busting ghosts?
Yeah, can't you see we're busy here?
I don't have anything conclusive yet. Performed some basic personality tests, and the results were interesting.
Turns out Eddie doesn't have one.
Shut it, or you'll get the juice again.
Oh, Eddie, did I hurt your feelings?